Yo, I just got done talking to Hebrew Israelites down in Phoenix. I'm in Phoenix for the weekend. And I'm with my homeboy Vocab Malone. And this fool is in their heads because these people are obsessed with Vocab Malone. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, even today, new people posting videos trying to like dog on him and all that too. He's in their head. I mean, they're obsessed with them. He don't even think about them in that kind of way, and they're just constantly thinking about him, making videos, trying to clown him, hating on everything, trying to pull a bunch of different things together to make him look bad. But this is my first encounter with Hebrew Israelites, and they stand on the corner and they hold their Bible and they're kind of just yelling at people, literally just screaming scriptures and all that at people. But what's crazy is that like they're so hostile. Like, you try, I mean, I'm trying to talk to people just to talk, and they ask you a question and you be like, what, or whatever, and then they start yelling at you and stuff like that. They don't want you to touch them. They don't want you to have a camera around.
Hey, don't record us. Don't record. You don't want to. No. What?
I mean, they're just like really, really hostile because they think everything's going to make them look bad. And in my mind, I'm like, if you believe what you believe, they should be happy that, like, I mean, they should want people to film them so that way they can get their message out. But it's just really weird because I never see people that are so defensive with everything and just ready to fight. I mean, they're all up in Vocab's face and all that too, saying they're gonna F them up and they want to fight them and just screaming. I'm like, they can't communicate without screaming and like literally screaming and yelling. So it's crazy to me because I never see people that are this hostile that claim to be preaching the word, and then they got this weird twist on everything. The one dude we were talking to is he's a flat earth. He says that he believes that the earth is flat, and that if you don't believe that, then you don't have salvation.
Do you believe the earth is flat?
No.
Why not?
There's not a good reason to believe that biblically.
No, it says right here, it says firmament, which divides the waters from the waters. There's waters above the firmament. Do you believe there's waters above the firmament?
Yeah. So
Do you think the earth moves?
do I think the earth moves? Yeah.
Why do you think the earth moves?
I think empirical evidence dictates
Empirical
that.
evidence. I can see
Might
that.
want to comment on this one. This is not really. I'm not a flat Earth.
No, you don't believe the Bible. Relax. It says who laid the foundation.
Listen.
Relax. It says who laid the foundation. Relax. Who laid the foundation?
We're gonna interact.
I'm reading the scriptures.
Right. Okay, let me ask you this.
This is Psalms 104. Relax.
Let's do a more basic question. What's the gospel? You want to talk to me about flat Earth?
It says ye
Does
shall
believing
keep
that flat Earth save you?
All right, this is section
keep the law.
section 9.
Well, it says you got to keep the law, statute, commandments, and testimony.
But then the other ones were saying that they don't agree with that aspect, and then they were telling me that all of them are unified and they all read the scriptures themselves, and then how they come to I mean, it's just it's a big epistemic mess. Like, the epistemology is just a straight up disaster, and it's hard to, you know what I mean? But the weird thing to me was just the anger. It seemed like, I mean, from the outside, I'm not trying to label them, but from the outside it seems like they're just so full of hate, you know what I mean? Like, and they're quick to try to throw somebody outside the circle. If they're outside the circle, this is just my experience with these people, and then how it seemed to me, you know what I mean? Because there's probably a bunch of backstory or something I don't know, but they're just really hostile people, like super defensive and really hostile. They're stomping around, swinging their arms all crazy and all this. Like, they can't control their anger and the hate that they have in their hearts. And I don't understand the background again. Like, so however they justify it, whatever. But from the outside, they look crazy. They look like a bunch of crazy people who want to freaking start a riot or something like that, because it's just not normal. People don't act this way. I mean, you get offended, that's one thing, but we live in a world where there's so many different belief systems, religion and everything like that. Like, I understand people attack your beliefs or whatever, you might get offended or whatever, but you don't need to get to the point where you can't even control yourself. These people, like, veins is popping out all of their heads and all that, like, I can't even explain it. Like, you know what I mean? And if these fools weren't going to have a freaking nervous breakdown if I recorded them, then I would record it so everybody else can see.
You still got me on camera and you turn it towards me.
But it's not
I'm going to grab your camera.
I mean, I got a little bit of it before they freaking flipped out and told me to turn off my camera and all this or whatever, because I should respect them as a man, while they're in everybody's face threatening people and stuff like that. And, you know, they don't have respect for other people, but they don't get that. Like, it's crazy to me, like, all the stuff that they don't get, because it's just like they see it for themselves, but they don't see it for everybody else. You know what I mean? And I think that's a problem with a lot of people, like in religion and everything else. Like, you know what I mean? People can get like that. And that's why I think you need reasons for what you believe, instead of just having emotional reasons for what you believe. You need intellectual reasons too, so that way you can explain why people should listen to what you have to say as opposed to everybody else's feelings and emotions. Anyways, so I'm sitting in the car right now and the cops just showed up. I'm just looking on the corner and I don't even know why, but probably because they're just making a ruckus and all this or whatever too. But I guess they preach every Sunday on the corner or something like that. And this is all new to me because I mean, I live in Colorado, and in Colorado you don't see this. So anyways, quick update. That's all I got for you. Peace.
Nobody has commenced to fucking you up and moving you off the corner.
That's right.
So you can be here. This is public property.
Right.
But what I say, do not divert.
That's right.
I don't give a fuck about that. I don't give a fuck about the law. We out here saying, listen, we out here saying that the Most High is going to destroy this king.
That's right.
Get the hell up out of here, man. Come on, man. It's not a fucking circus show. Yeah, man.
I'm allowed to be on camera.
When the Romans came to take your house on, Peter stood up against him.
And why
he
not?
had to tell him that, hey, it's
Those
not
who live
time
by
yet.
the sword will
He
die
told him
by
it's
the
not
sword.
time yet.
How did you just make that out of
It's not
context?
time yet. So, hey, it just goes to show you that the way the Lord is ready.
Why don't you go say that? Why don't you go tell that to Esau?
So stand up.
Go tell that to Esau, man.
Obviously, that's
Go tell that to Esau, man.